When my child told me that they were transgender, I was very shocked, and I mean, I didn't go to work for a few days. I couldn't get through the day without crying, and lots of thoughts flashed through my head, and my whole life, and the expectation that I had had for myself and for my child had changed and felt at that time lost. I was also incredibly worried for them. How would life be? Would it now be really, really difficult? Would they still have friends? Would they still have a relationship? Would they be able to have a job? I mean, looking back on that now, it seems ridiculous. And I was persuaded by my partner to go to a family gender identity support day. And again, initially, I didn't want to go. But there, meeting other people who'd been through that same sort of shock, but then actually found that everything was okay, everything was just fine. Yes, I mean, their children were sometimes going through issues either at school or with friends, with bullying, some difficulties, practical difficulties at school, but actually they were just carrying on with life.
I've been along to a couple of the gender identity days with her, and it just comes across to me as a place where, you know, parents can go and, like my mum did, they can just see other parents and some other young trans people and, you know, gay people, whatever, just like living normal lives. It deepened our relationship because we were just able to just freely talk about the things that I was experiencing and the things that she was experiencing as a parent as well. So it was really, really helpful because, you know, for the first, like, you know, couple of months after I came out, I felt like having someone other than me to talk to was important.
When I broke the news to my parents, I got upset because I was so worried about telling them, and I think they therefore reacted quite badly and were quite hostile to the idea that their grandson would be trans, and they didn't really want to accept it, and they hoped it was a phase, and they said to me, oh, it's just a phase, and they clearly wanted it to be a phase. They also described it as showing off, which was very hurtful. I mean, why would you show off in that way? In what way is being really honest about who you are showing off? Especially something that is going to be difficult. You know, it's not something easy to do. With my own family, I'm doing completely the opposite of what I would advocate and what I go to the family groups for and what I talk to other people about, which is, you know, show that everything's okay.
What Flag gave my mum, it gave her the vocabulary to actually ask me questions and for her to understand what I was saying when I replied.
I was worried about what would I say at work and would people understand, and how would I go about explaining to others when people ask, you know, about your child, using the wrong pronouns, using the wrong names, and so on. But when I actually did break the news, nobody really turned a hair. Everyone just sort of got on with it, and people also said to me, oh, you must be very proud. And I realised that actually, yes, I was very proud. I was intensely proud that my child knew so much about who they were, that they were able to process these thoughts and come out and tell me, actually, no, this is who I am. And it made me think, well, they're never going to be pushed around in life. They're never going to be forced to do something that they want to do because they have such a strong sense of who they are and how they are going to be, that I think that's going to stand them in really good stead.
Going to a Flag meeting means that you're talking to people just like you who know exactly what you're going through. So if people are looking for information, if they're looking for guidance, if they feel lost, you know, after their child tells them that, you know, they are, you know, LGBT in some fashion, then it's just so important to immediately have that resource, have that place you can go.
I started to realise that, you know, I am an expert in who my child is. They are an expert in who they are. Nobody can tell me that this isn't happening, or that this isn't right, or that we aren't going about it in the right way, as long as we are happy and supporting each other as a family. And if we can reach out and give that support to other families as well, that's a really good feeling.